Peace and all good, people of God, from Franciscan Media. I am Father Jim Sabak, and once again, this is the Inbreaking of the Word. Is it too early to wear a Santa hat? Is it too early to be wearing jingle bells? Well, I'll let you be the judge of it, because this is the week of the third Sunday of Advent. It is the Sunday in which we proclaim, rejoice, rejoice. It is the Sunday in which we throw away for a while, we put aside for a while, the purple vestments. Again, the dark purple vestments, not the light purple vestments. Those are for Lent. We put aside the darker purple vestments and we wear pink, actually rose. Not too bright a rose, perhaps, not a fuchsia, but kind of a dusty, kind of a rosy color. And why are we doing that? Well, we're doing that because it signifies rejoicing. And that's what we are about in this whole entire week. Why? Because again, if this is a season of joyful expectation, isn't there, as we keep hearing through all the readings that we've been experiencing these past 2 weeks, isn't it all about rejoicing and joy and things like that already? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If you look at what Advent becomes in being the season of penance, again, that's why the color purple comes in, because it's a penitential color. A penitential color because Jesus wears a purple cloak during his mocking and his beatings after he is arrested and after his trial before Pilate, because again, they are trying to embarrass him to make him confess not to be the Son of God. So the color purple, which was associated originally with royalty, becomes now a color associated with suffering because it is placed upon Christ who is suffering. Okay, all fine and well. Well, for the season of Lent, purple is the color par excellence because it is about suffering and sin, acknowledging our sins, and penances and penances about penances. If Advent is not a season of penance, why does the color purple come into it? Well, again, it's because the season of Lent is much older than the season of Advent. And people begin to say, well, if it's a preparation for something, like Lent is a preparation for Easter, then so too, Advent should be a penitential season because it's a preparation for Christmas. Remember, it's not. It is also a looking forward to the fulfillment of God's promises, again, to the unrelenting joy that brings. And so the sense in which purple becomes a color for Lent because they want Lent to become a penitential season is kind of an unjust thing to do to Advent. And so this is where, again, now we begin to have the same kinds of patterns in observing the Sundays of Advent that we do during the Sundays of Lent. The second to last Sunday of Lent, the fourth Sunday of Lent, was always a Sunday in which rose would be a color. Why? Well, because and it was a Sunday of joy. Because basically Lent is almost over. So all the sacrificing and the fasting and whatever it is just about to be done. And so let's wear something that is not purple, that reminds us that joy is around the corner, that Easter's around the corner, and, we can all move towards in that direction. Well, the same thing happens again, the second to last Sunday of Advent, the third Sunday of Advent, now becomes associated with joy. It doesn't need to be because it already is a season of joy. And so we don't have to have a particular Sunday that emphasizes that. It's crazy. It just is crazy sometimes. But again, this is the wonder and beauty of Advent. It is such a convoluted and fantastic season that we need to kind of immerse ourselves and emphasize it even more. Why rose to begin with? Well, because again, going back to Lent, springtime, as we're moving closer and closer to springtime, even maybe perhaps surpassing springtime if Easter is late in the year, basically flowers are beginning to bloom, and especially roses are beginning to bloom, particularly in southern Italy. And in a time in Roman history and church history and papal history in which different families to make their sons popes, bishops of Rome, because that's how it kind of was, what you did at this time of the year was to offer the first roses, to the family that had made you pope, that was keeping to make you pope. And so basically that's what was done. And so the sense in which that becomes associated with this Sunday in Lent and all of this all together, it just is incredible history, incredible fascinating history. But this is where we get this great sense of wearing rose and again, joy and things like that coming now into the season of Advent. It's more than that. It's always much more than that. And our readings have been pointing to this direction of great joy the entire time that we've been walking through Advent these past 2 weeks. But our readings today especially emphasize joy. Shout with joy, O daughter Zion. Rise up in joy, O daughter Zion, because your enemies are destroyed. You are now free to live without fear. Again, God has protected you. God has brought you back. That first reading from Isaiah, nothing but positivity, nothing but God doing great things for us. A God who wants to do this, without having us to beg for them, without having us to do penance for them. Again, God sees our plight, the ups and downs of our life, and God answers it with joy. God answers it with telling us things are going to be better. You have nothing to fear. You have nothing to doubt. Live your life. Live your life with an abundance. Live your life with everything that you have within inside of you that expresses this great joy of being a part of the life of God. A second reading again from Philippians, in which again Paul says to them, rejoice, I say. Again, I will say it, rejoice. If you don't believe me, I even go for a third time to say rejoice. Again, because the Philippians are recognizing the power of love. Again, from last weekend, recognizing what truly matters in their life. So why not live with joy? Why not live with joy? Again, and Paul encouraging this. It's not about doubt and pain. It's not about sadness and sorrow. We can't live like this as human beings. We can't live constantly doubting God's love for us because God says, I love you first, always and forever. And then we come again to the Baptist. Again, the Baptist who is out there baptizing people left and right. And everybody going to him, what do we have to do to be saved? And basically, John the Baptist giving practical advice. Don't be jerks. Don't be jerks. Stop being jerks. That's basically the bottom line. Be a person of good cheer. Be a person who tries to be nice. Again, he tells it to soldiers. He tells it to tax collectors. Don't extort. Don't take too much. Be people who are humane to each other. That is, again, what God asks. That's what God wants, not beating ourselves up again and again and again. And because of this, again, John's proclamation and John's prophecy becomes something more and more people want to hear. But then again, John moves into this whole idea of who this Messiah is and what this Messiah is going to do, what people are expecting. And this is where the winnowing fan, separating wheat from the chaff being burned in unquenchable fire. Okay, there's a little bit of darkness there perhaps in John's proclamation, but remember, the Messiah who shows up even surprises the Baptist, the one who was proclaiming him, because he is not that one to separate holy from what is not. He is the one to bring together what has fallen apart, the one to bring back those who have lost their way, the one who brings unity and peace to this world. A continued blessed Advent, people of God, from Franciscan Media. May the Lord give you his peace.